Hi, welcome to another live stream. We have a little bit of a mess here. Okay, so I'm gonna be glazing today again. You can check out on YouTube right now. I've added the live stream from yesterday where we're doing some glazing and I don't know, just kind of like chatting about some of this process and all of that. Maybe some like safety things and whatever. So I have a couple pots here. I have a couple things for me to like stay organized. So just so you know, the pots that we're going to be working on, they have been bisque fired. They have been rinsed off with water, and then I think it's kind of hard to see, but you can see there is a wax resist applied to the foot of the cup. It's a lot more purple when it is freshly applied, but I think I put that on there like a couple days ago. Okay, so we're gonna be using Pacific Blue. I have not opened this yet, so hopefully it is a good consistency. I'm shaking it right now. You want to shake them, stir them well before applying. I asked on Reddit, and a lot of people, basically everybody, said that if you have like a size of glaze like this size, I don't know how much this is, I don't know, a couple ounces or something, or if you have a pint size, those are small enough where you don't have to have a dedicated mixer or anything like that. They said that it's fine to shake them, and that should be good enough for like that kind of like stirring mixing process. That's what everybody said. Or my ceramic teacher said that like you always want to be like thoroughly mixing with a mixer, but at that point we were working with like 5-gallon buckets. So I don't know if people are gonna be yelling at me in the comments of YouTube or something, but hopefully not. Okay, also I think we're done. This is one I've used before, so I put this little like cling wrap on it to help it stay moisturized. I think it's working fairly well. I think. Because sometimes when some of the like new glazes that I buy, they are like hard as a rock and they need very thorough mixing with like a spoon or something. Like it will, like I had this one, it was like literally hard as a rock and like at the bottom, and then it had all of this liquid at the top, mostly water, but probably other stuff. Okay, so we let me see. Okay, so your glazes will tell you sometimes they're for both brushing on, pouring, or dipping. They'll tell you if it's specifically made for one or the other, if it's only one. This one says it's good for brushing, pouring, or dipping. And then when you're brushing on your glaze, it is it's most common to be putting on it recommends like 2 to 3 coats, but I typically go with 3 coats. So that's what I'm gonna do. Some of my other ones that I was glazing off camera were super weird. They were like so thin. So I did like 4 coats on some of them. These are drying. This is drying like so fast. So we'll see. Hopefully there's nothing weird going on with those ones. It's also good to like keep notes while you're glazing, to put anything in there like, oh, I noticed this when I was applying it, it was super weird in this way or something. And then if it turns out weird, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember now. It was probably too thin and we probably needed to do a 4th coat or something. Like some of the ones that I have are like this one that I have, I cannot remember like when I made the test tile, but the test tile is, it is supposed to be glossy. It is not. It is not matte either. And it is like, you can feel the rough bisque under it. Like you should not be able to feel that. And I'm like, yep, that one's weird. So for the, I did another kind of like test of that one, and I'm pretty sure that I did like 4 coats on it. I have so many things that I'm glazing, that I have been glazing in the past couple days. A lot of it off screen, but there's so much. Even if you weren't doing that many things, like it's just good to keep notes, to come back to it, like if you're going to come back to it later, just be like, oh, okay, yeah, this glaze is like whatever, weird or something, and it really needs this many coats or something. Or if you do anything to it, like if I'm adding water to the glaze, I'll note that. And then if something weird happens, I'll be like, oh, maybe it's because I messed with it. I don't know. I'm just trying my best over here. This is going to be my 3rd glaze firing doing this brush on process. So this is not what I'm used to, and this is very different from the dipping method that I did in the university classes that I took. So if anybody is watching and they're ready to type out some crazy comment like, oh my god, why are you doing that, or something, like, please please be nice. This is not a how-to. This is just showing what I'm doing in my studio at the moment. I'm just showing you guys my daily process, and if I'm doing it wrong, just please be nice. I know, like, my Twitch people are gonna be cool. Got 1 viewer right now, but I just know that YouTube, it's gonna be up for, I don't know, I guess forever, and that just gives so much time to randos to be, okay, this, you gotta get that chunk out of there, for randos to just see it and then say whatever they want and, like, I don't know, rip my soul apart, I guess. You never know. So I'm just gonna tell ya, this is not what I'm used to, and I am not entirely sure what the heck is going on with some of these consistency wise. Yeah. So I'm like, I do not feel like super confident about how these look sometimes. I'm just like, it is wildly different from when you're dipping your glazes, like the consistency of the glaze, obviously how it's applied, like there's, you're gonna obviously have like so much more like of an even coat when you're when you are dipping versus this where it's like kind of going all over the place. And I don't, just like the fact that it's being like I'm just like stabbing at it. Just the fact that it's acting so weird. This is why I'm like, I don't feel like 100% confident in what is happening sometimes. And it really depends on the glaze. Like this one, I don't know. This one is kind of acting a lot like the one I had yesterday, except this one's really chunky. For some reason, I don't know why it's so chunky. And then some of them go on like a dream. They're all different. And I don't know. we're just gonna hope for the best and go with it. I like part of this is like I want to share my process to other people that might be in the same boat as me, and they're just looking at their glaze and they're like, this doesn't look right, it's being weird, and I'm right there with you, buddy. I am like, how is this gonna turn out? Is this gonna be okay? I don't know. I was like, I do remember specifically the first time that I did my first like glaze batch with these like doing the brush on with them. I literally was like, I think my ceramic process is going to be ruined if the only thing I can do is this dipping thing. I just don't have the kind of space to be to have like gallons of glaze. And like I'm like doing my own kind of practice now that I'm not taking like those university classes. I'm, like there they provide the glaze. You don't have to put it anywhere in your house. It's just at the studio and you're, but this is just so different. This is different. I have to have space for all the stuff that I'm doing, and I am doing my own thing separate from any kind of studio. So I'm testing out what I like. I have a bunch of glazes right now that I'm testing out, and then once I figure out the ones that I do really like, I can narrow down and maybe do a couple gallons of those ones. But like at the moment, I don't know which ones I like. And I can't just buy like gallons and gallons of different ones to try out. Because obviously you can't really like dip with the tiny maybe if you had like a pint and then you like really watered it down. I don't really there is a like technique that I'm going to try where it does include watering it down and just kind of like swirling them around. So So I will be trying that. I'm really not sure about the coating process. I think I'm going to put a clear coat on top of it just in case, to make sure that it is like really fully coating it, like the swirling technique that I'm going to do like later off camera on a different piece. Wow, this is like really chunky. Okay, so we have one coat done. No, that's like, we have like 1.5 coats done. This is why I keep these little notes here. Helps me to like remember what we're doing. Okay. And once we have that one coat on, it does go on better with the second one because it's not drying quite as fast as it was, and I can kind of like smush the glaze around into some of those crevices and stuff that didn't fit into quite earlier. So it's kind of nice to like, it makes me feel a little bit better that it kind of smooths out a little bit more. Like once you kind of like add at least like the first coat. Oh, it is also important to, when you're brushing glaze on, to like vary like which direction it's going in. So earlier we were going vertically with our strokes, and now we are going horizontally with this coat. It just really helps like make sure that all of those kind of crevices from the brush are being filled with this kind of like with the variation. And I think that helps it stay even. I think sometimes if you don't do that, you might see like the brush strokes kind of in the glaze in a certain way. Okay, so we've gone, and it's also really good because like I can see that we've gone all the way around because the brush strokes are going in a different direction now. So that's also very helpful. Okay, so we have done the second coat. So I'm gonna put my other card down. Okay, and then we're going to do, take that chunk out. I don't know why it is so chunky. Hopefully that doesn't do anything weird. This glaze is one that is, or wait, I want to go like vertically actually. This glaze is actually formulated for texture and is kind of like transparent. And it looks different like where it pools and it's a little bit thicker. It just has more color in those areas. So hopefully we're not doing anything too weird. I am really curious to see how this looks layered with other glazes. So I'm doing it on the base as the base coat, and then I will be applying, I have a couple of different ones where I'm going to try different glazes over it. So I'm just like really curious like how that's going to look. It's such a beautiful kind of like a light teal color. So I'm really excited to look at how it will look like when it is glazed and fired. I do not really like it. I mean, it's pretty like okay on its own, but I'm not really one of those people that does like that kind of texture thing and then they put like a glaze on the stuff that's like meant to show off that kind of texture thing. I'm not really like one of those people. So hopefully layering it will kind of like, you can see that color like shine through the other one, and that's what I'm hoping for. And then I'm hoping they'll just kind of like combine nicely in that way. It might, I don't know, it might just do weird things and I might just not like it. I really like the color, but I wish it wasn't really one of those like texture specific ones. Okay, we are nearly done with this one. Sorry. Okay, and I think I am very confident that I'm gonna do some glazing after work also. And I'm very confident that I'll have like a full batch to bring to the studio for firing. The studio that I go to requires like a minimum of like half of a kiln shelf, basically. Well, you can bring less than that, but they're gonna charge you the same amount as if you like brought half a shelf. So obviously you just want to bring like enough to fill up half, or like a, okay, so the half, the, okay, so the kiln is like, the kiln has like, has 2 shelves for 1 layer, and then that's like half of the layer, so that's like 1 shelf. They want 1 shelf full. I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm making much sense. But I'm confident that I will have enough for that. So hopefully, I don't, I have to see if my partner is, doing anything tomorrow, because he's the one with the car. I don't have a car. Because it's like, I don't know, like, if I was doing anything, we're gonna be doing something together, so like, we're only taking 1 car, you know, so it's like, I don't know, it's like, well, I don't have money for a car, but like, if I did, we probably wouldn't even use it. So anyway, if he is free, we're gonna drop a load off over to the studio, and I'm planning on just doing the 1 shelf, because I don't know how I could possibly bring any more than that. I typically hold the stuff while we're driving. I don't really want it to be, well, definitely the back seat is like at an angle and they could fall over, and I don't feel good about putting them in the trunk either. So I just like hold it like while we're driving. If anybody does ceramics and they're watching, let me know how you transport glazed pieces to the studio. I'd really like to know how other people do it. Basically, I have a like bulletin board. This is really weird, but and the studio people make fun of me too. I basically have a bulletin board and I just like put them like next to each other. Like there's no stacking, they're not touching each other. I just like place them next to each other on the board and I hold that in the car. So if anybody does ceramics, let me know how you transport glazed pieces from like your home to the studio if you do that. I have heard that glazes are formulated differently if they allow for brushing the glaze on, so that they stick better to the piece. Because most likely if you're brushing it on, you're working from your home and you're going to have to transport it. So that is kind of something to consider if you are working. Oh, I need to do the bottom of this. If you are doing this from your house and then you have to transport it, that's what I've heard, is that they're formulated differently. And are better suited for transporting them to the studio. Yeah. I'm just kind of like gonna guess how many coats I want on the bottom of this. So I'm kind of thinking what we're gonna do is I'm going to bring like my one batch, like it's gonna be like a full batch for them to put in, and I don't want to like overwhelm the studio by bringing more either, because their studio, they have a lot of other people bringing stuff in as well, like their actual students and members. So I don't want to like bring in like so much at one time for that reason either. I don't know if that's like, maybe I'll put a little bit more on. I'm not sure. And then when it is fired and it's ready to be picked up, I think we're gonna bring us the next batch in, drop it off, and then pick up what is completed. And I think we'll just kind of do that kind of a thing. So this is gonna be like, this is probably going to be a couple weeks. Kind of a process. They're closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, so those are days that kind of can't count in like the firing process, sort of, or like the pickup process, like whatever. So it kind of like adds to the time to like pick up and drop off and whatever. Like the kiln might be like running that day, but it might not. Like I can't, like if it was done, say, like I couldn't just like, I couldn't go there and get it. I'd have to wait until Wednesday to get it. That kind of a thing. So this is gonna be like probably a couple weeks process. I just want to get this glazing done though, because I don't know, I'm really excited to get this stuff done. But I also want to make sure that like, I just kind of want to get out of my space. Because there's a lot of stuff just sitting around, and it's good to try to be like methodical about the process of glazing, like trying to get all of the like, so right now we've opened up this blue glaze and I want to apply it to all the ones that need that, and then move on to like the next glaze, kind of like in that way it's like kind of methodical. Now that I don't have to like like mix them so thoroughly, it definitely is saving so much more time, because I thought you had to like thoroughly blend them with some kind of like mixer thing. And that took like so much time. But apparently you don't have to do that with the small batches. Yeah. So those of you that know anything about firing, you might be like, why is this going to take you weeks to do? So I'll just kind of like touch on that. So I have not like fired a kiln or anything, so bear with me on my lack of detail. But I have basically heard like, so we're doing, I don't think the temperature matters for timing. I don't know, maybe it does. No, it probably does matter for like how long it does. So we're doing, my stuff is going to be mid fire. So it is cone 6, clay and glazes. And that, I believe it takes about 12 hours for the glazing process, like for the kiln to heat up and whatever it's doing, whatever they put into the process for it. Like sometimes you can put holds or whatever, and I don't know, the programming for it. So it's going to eventually get to the cone 6 temperature, and then I believe it just turns off. And then so like to get to that temperature, it takes about 12 hours, I believe, like somewhere around there. But then so I believe it just like turns off when it reaches the temperature or whatever, or it's like held at the temperature for a certain amount of time or something. And then I believe it needs 12 more hours for it to cool down. It's very hot. If you don't know, the kiln is going to be like a lot hotter than your oven. Off the top of my head, I know I don't I don't know off the top of my head like how high cone 6 is, but it is so much more than your oven. I am going to throw a wild guess and say it is 1200 degrees. That's just a very wild guess. Do not quote me on that. But it's so obvious, like your oven will not get that hot, and that's why you have to have access to a kiln to do your pottery. Just as like a basic overview, and why people have to have a kiln, like why you can't do it why you can't do it in your oven. That's why it is extremely hot, and the whole kiln has to cool down. So the kiln has to cool down, the air in it has to cool down, all of the pieces have been heated and they need to cool down. And I think the rough estimate is like that takes 12 hours or so. So basically, in like roughly guessing about 24 hours, like you should have a completed piece. Which is why some people might be like, why is it taking so long to get your stuff back? Personally, I don't care that, I'm so like happy that the studio even does this in the first place. A lot of studios do not offer outside firing, and a lot of them want you to have a membership to fire pieces at their studio, and that is a lot of money, and I don't need a membership because I'm doing things at home. So I don't care. I don't exactly know what they're doing that takes so long. I think I don't know. I guess I'm just guessing that maybe they just have like so many things from people that take their workshops and all of the people that are outside firing and the people that actually have memberships there, that is just their turnaround time. It's kind of like an estimate. Sometimes I have had it take longer than 3 days, but they say it should be done within like 3 days. And I don't know. I guess I'm just like curious. I don't know. I think it's just like the quantity they have. Maybe they have to like split it into like I might have dropped it off, but then like they can't get it in until like after it's been fired, and then it goes in like the next day or something. I don't know. I don't really care like too much, but it's just kind of like a queue process. So I think it just depends on like how many other people are doing stuff also at that time. I've had it take like a week one time to get my glazed pieces back. So that's why I'm just like telling you guys, like I want to show you guys like when they're done, but I don't know when like they'll be done. Because I'm not controlling the firing. Okay. I'm like zoned out, and I have no idea like what we've done here. I'm pretty sure I literally have forgotten. Like it's like my memory just like went to like move to trash, and then it just like threw it away. Okay, I think we did 2 coats on the inside and 2 coats on the outside. And then I did the rim. I do know I need to put more on the bottom. Okay, I think let me think. I think we did the second coat. I completely forgot to even like keep track. Okay, I think we did the second coat. So I'm going to do the third coat. Oh my god. When I'm not streaming and I'm doing this, I have been recording it. And actually it's been like pretty helpful, because sometimes I literally cannot remember what has happened. And I just like go back and look at the footage, and I'm like, oh, okay. That's what I've been doing for the last like 20 minutes. Oh. I don't know. I'm just like in the zone and just hopefully this is not a fourth coat. But before I go and apply the coat of the other glaze on top of this, I will go and look at the footage. And I don't know, determine something after that. I don't know. They can kind of have quite a bit on there. Because, like, if you're doing 2 glazes, you're supposed to put on 3 of the one glaze and then 3 of the other glaze, which is, it just seems like so much, but it's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. So, who knows? I don't know. This was like so thick. It's like, what the heck? I don't know what the heck is. Let me see. Yeah, kind of weird spots. Something that I might also do is, okay, so we've applied wax resist here, but there is just tiny bits of glaze on top of the wax. So what I'm gonna do, like, when it's like all done, like completely done, is wipe that off with a wet sponge. And you can also just kind of like wipe a little bit into the glaze too, and like kind of bring that further up if you feel that the need to add more space there, in case, for those cases when you're doing like multiple glazes. Sometimes that's a good thing to kind of, I don't know, note when the glaze maybe is thicker than you expect it to be. And you're doing like full coats, you're not just like rim dipping or something. Some kind of thing like that. Okay, cool. So we have these 2 done. Let me just like move them out of my space, and we can do some other ones. I think we might be able to finish this little kind of ring dish thing there. And I have another one if we have time to do another one. I think we'll only have time for this one because those ones took like 40 minutes, so this one should take about the 20 minutes. Okay. It's a cute little weird shaped ring dish. Okay. The brush is like super, it has so much stuff like globbed on it. It gets really annoying when the glaze is like dried inside the brush. So if you're doing like quite a few pieces and it's doing that, I just kind of like either grab a new brush or just kind of wash it off. I did mention in the video yesterday, you don't want to be like washing your brushes in the sink or any in any way. You don't want to be putting your glaze or underglaze down the sink, just so you know, if you don't know that. Because like, although this is like a non-toxic glaze, what it means by that is that it's non-toxic when it has been fired. In this state, obviously, the, 'cause, 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 ' like chemicals and whatever, or I don't know if I'm not really gonna say chemicals, but the materials inside of it are just they're just held together by water, and they can separate. And like putting the glaze down the drain will put it into like the local like streams and rivers and that stuff. And it's bad for wildlife, that kind of a thing. So that's why you don't want to be like, you wouldn't want to wash your brush in the sink. Before we're done here, I'm gonna show you how I wash my brushes. Basically, I have a little cup of water over here. And I just dab it around in there, get the glaze out of the brushes. Might move the brushes around with my fingers, and then I'm going to dump that water into my glaze bucket, which is like, that's what it is like from glazing, like from when I'm glazing, I'm, sponging up the glaze that's like on top of my work surface, and I pour it in there. I'm cleaning my brushes and I'm pouring it in there, and that's my glaze bucket. That's what I mean by that. And it just has a variety of stuff in it, glazes and underglazes. Of course, it's separate from my clay bucket with my clay water. And then I did talk about this in the last video. I'm sorry if you watched both of them and you're getting the talk in both, but basically you just like, there are a couple different ways that you can dispose of it, of your glaze bucket, or you can just use it. I mean, if you wanted to, if you love gross colors or like browns, random, probably not nice looking colors. This is what I've heard from other people. That is what you're most likely gonna get from a glaze bucket, is like you can just use it on something. Obviously you probably have a variety of glazes in there. So if you have any that are not marked as non-toxic, like they are toxic, you would maybe just make sure that it is on something such as a vase that is not going to be used for beverages or food, just maybe to be safe, just like something decorative or a sculpture or something, if you were going to apply it to a piece, and then fire it like normal. I've also heard that sometimes like studios where people will like make a kind of like tall size cup or like tumbler, or like maybe like a tall sized like bowl, and put the that glaze mixture inside of that, like more than what you would normally put, and then not quite to the top, but like quite a bit. You can like fill it up quite a bit, and then fire that, and then that is safe to put into the trash, because it's been fired, the glazes and the materials have been locked in with the from the firing. So like if you like, you can get a lot more like of that glaze used if you just like throw it into that large kind of whatever you're gonna put it in. Like a tumbler or something. So that's how I think a lot of people do it. Or studios, I think, do that. You can also bring it to, you can just bring your glaze bucket to, or I don't know if you have to put it in a bag or something. I don't know. I haven't done it. But you can bring it to some type of business that does kind of like waste disposal, and they will have a special way of disposing your glazes, which it does not involve putting it into a landfill. But I have heard that that can be expensive. So if you're thinking about doing it, probably just like call them and ask. I haven't done that, but from what I've heard, it can be expensive for that. So just so you know. Okay, so we kind of have like 2 coats done. This is perfect. We are right on time. I'm so excited to have all of this done. We're actually like, we've done like a whole like container. I don't know if I have any more of this glaze actually, which might be bad because I did plan a lot to be in this color. I don't know. I'll have to go look. Anyway, I'm really excited to get these pieces done. I have not done a kiln firing or like a glaze firing. I haven't done a glaze firing in like, let me say, like since June, I think. So it's like 4 months. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing. Maybe it was July. Okay, so like 3 or 4 months. I haven't fired any new pieces. So I'm just like, I'm really excited to see how these turn out. Because I have like my last, well, okay, so the first firing that I did, I really just like threw on like single glazes onto the majority of what was in there, and I do really like how they turned out, but it can be a little bit boring. Or like the second firing, I did do a few experiments. Some of them, like, I don't know why. I mean, I'm not really like, I don't exclusively follow ceramists on like social media. I follow all kinds of people, like all kinds of makers, because I just love like handmade stuff. So I don't know. I haven't seen it before, or maybe I just haven't like noticed it. But I've never seen people just like use underglaze under a like colored glaze. Like the go-to thing with underglaze is to do that and then put a clear glaze on top of it so that you can actually see the underglaze. But I have a couple glazes that are like, you can see through it a little bit. So I think it's like really interesting to put underglazes there, and then they kind of like peek through the glaze that is over it. I don't know. I bet you I cannot be the only person that's ever thought of this. So I'm sure that is somebody else is doing it. But anyway, it was just kind of, it like, that was kind of like my exciting experiment the last time that I did that I fired pieces to see like how those would look. I'm just gonna do like some touch-ups here now. And then I don't even every couple months I go and buy more glazes. So I don't have test tiles of everything. So the last firing I did, like some of the pinch pots that I made were the test tiles, kind of. I was like, I don't know, we're gonna see how it looks with like the glaze combinations. So it was kind of like fun in that way, but I didn't really do anything too crazy. I have quite a few plans for what I will be finishing up here, which include kind of like maybe thinking even further ahead with lusters. The studio that I fire at does let you, they do a luster firing, which I'm like, oh my gosh, for the longest time I didn't even know they did that. So I'm really excited to try that out. So I have a few that I'm like, okay, it's going to look maybe a little bit plain with like just one glaze on it or something, but I'm planning on adding some luster on top of it. And if you don't know, luster is like, or it's, the overarching name would be over glazes because it's over the glaze. And it can include like gold luster. There are usually a couple different types of gold, depending on what you're buying it. And then there's also mother of pearl. So I'm really excited to do that and just kind of like maybe like dot those around on things, or I don't know, I'm not exactly sure, like some of them, like how I want to like add it on there, but I have that kind of idea for some of these. And then we have a couple different things going on, where like some of them I might be kind of like adding like kind of like dots of color of different glazes, maybe around the piece, which is not something I've done. I'm really curious how that's gonna turn out, because it could just end up runny and not look good and just be weird. So they're experiments. I have to like not get my hopes too high. My hopes are gonna be high, but gotta manage your expectations, especially with ceramics, because you never know what is going to happen to them. And you can't count your chickens before they're hatched. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I clean my brush. So I basically just have, this is not special water. I do have distilled water to add into my glazes, if I feel like they need water added to them or something. But this is just tap water. And then you don't need anything special. You don't need a special soap or anything for this. And then like, I don't know, I'm just kind of like scraping at the bristles, but like under the water a little bit. Just kind of like get some of the glaze out of there. Sometimes it just kind of gets a little stuck, and I don't know. Sometimes it is what it is. It should come out just from the water. So I think that is pretty good. There's my timer. And then I'll go and I will dump this into my glaze bucket, and I'll just fill it up, and then maybe like tap the brush in there a few more times see. It kind of has that similar powdery look, like the powder just kind of like expands out from it if there is more glaze in there in the brush. And then I think that should be fine. It should probably, for the most part, be out of the brush. And then you can use it on the next piece. It is important to know to dry your brush horizontally. You don't want to put it back into your cup like this, because the water is going to seep down and it's going to disintegrate the glue that is in here. And then you don't want that, because then this part might fall off the brush, or maybe the bristles will fall out. This is not a fancy brush. This is literally the cheapest thing I could find. So, I mean, whatever, but just so you know, you always want to dry your brush horizontally. For anyone out there that is not a painter. I used to do a lot of painting, so that's why I know that. So yeah. I don't know if we're gonna have more glazing to do in tomorrow's video. Hopefully I am done by then, but there's a lot I need to do still. So we might be doing that. I hope this is kind of interesting. It's at least probably informative for you guys. I think yesterday was very informative for you. So yeah. So thank you so much for watching. This is kind of the very uneven, weird looking result that we have. And I'm going to put another glaze on top of this. So hopefully it will turn out okay. It does worry me that it looks so uneven, but I think it will be fine. For anybody watching on Twitch, thank you so much for watching. Well, anyone, thank you so much for watching. If you're on Twitch, be sure to follow the channel so you know when I hop on for a stream. I'm scheduled for 1 to 2 p.m. on weekdays, and then I might jump on randomly after work or on the weekend. So follow along so you know when I am online. And then all of the videos will be uploaded to YouTube at Calie & Co. Into the Stream Archive playlist. There are 37 other videos on there for you to watch. So, I don't know. That's a lot. Like, that is only the Stream Archive. So you have 37 hours of ceramic things if you want to go watch those. And then there's other videos on my channel too. Stuff that is ceramic related, but maybe like how-tos. Like I have how to make a pinch pot and that kind of stuff that's more direct. And like it's less than 5 minutes for you to watch. And I'm gonna be making some other small business related content for the YouTube, and maybe like maybe general art related stuff there too. So be sure to subscribe so you know when I come out with videos there. There's always going to be stuff on there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Just watching the videos is like, that is supporting my channel. Not to mention like subscribing and liking stuff. Be sure to do that. And I will catch you guys later. Bye.